From the West Bengal Chief Minister, today comes an attempt to de escalate the crisis that has erupted in Kolkata after the rape and murder of a young doctor at the RG Kor Medical College. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. Mamata Banerjee today said sorry. She said sorry to the victim at the RG Medical College, but also to what she called all other daughters in India who have had to experience this manner of sexual violence or murder. Mamata Banerjee was speaking at the foundation day of the Chhatra Parishad of the Trinamool Congress, its student wing foundation day. She said she was deeply sad, and perhaps for the first time since this horror has unfolded at the RG Medical College, she actually used the word sorry. But as I said, the sorry was not only for the woman who has been killed and raped at the Arjikor Medical College, the young doctor, but for what the Chief Minister of West Bengal called all other daughters of India who've had to undergo anything similar. Now, Mamata Banerjee's comments, that sorry, that sentiment of being deeply sad, come on a day when the BJP called for a Bengal Bandh. These were some of the images that were seen or have been seen from across West Bengal. This is after police action on protesters. The police say that the protesters yesterday took the law into their own hands by pelting stones and breaking barricades. The protesters say that the police used disproportionate force when the police opened uh, tear gas and water cannons on protesters. Now, politics threatens to sabotage this conversation. This conversation that should be about whether the young woman will get justice. But in the meantime, we are seeing a big political war between the Trinamool Congress on the one side, the BJP on the other. But what about all of the questions that citizens who are not concerned with electoral politics have on their mind? The role of Sandip Ghosh, the former principal of the RG Kor Medical College, for example, whose tenure has been described as a reign of terror by those who had to deal with him. Questions about why the Trinamool Congress government actually protected him, sent a government lawyer to defend him in the Kolkata High Court, and also why he was not sacked till the Kolkata High Court intervened. Also, there have been allegations from former officials at the RG Medical College that Sandip Ghosh was connected to Sanjoy Roy, the main accused in this case. In fact, Akhtar Ali, a whistleblower in the case, described the relationship between the prime accused and Sandeep Ghosh to be that of bouncer to Sandeep Ghosh. So there are many, many questions, and I want to bring in today not two politicians. In fact, we've consciously again steered clear of the party politics that we think interferes, that noise interferes with the real conversation. I want to introduce my guest today as we look at this issue beyond party politics. I'm joined by Rimjim. Rimjim Sinha has been one of the key frontline protesters trying to give voice to what citizens are feeling, trying to transcend the party political binary in this conversation. Welcome, Rimjim. And we're also joined by somebody whom we can't identify by name for his own safety and at his own request. We're joined by somebody who has been intern doctor, who is an intern doctor at the RG Medical College. He has personally clashed with Sandip Ghosh when he was principal. And we, in fact, have two student testimonies on this platform. Both students have spoken about, and this could be a trigger warning to all of you. Both students have spoken about contemplating and considering suicide because of what they underwent when Sandip Ghosh was the principal. And as I said, we've consciously not called any politician to this conversation today. Let me start with you, Rimjim, and I'll come to the doctor after that. Rimjim, you have long spoken on our platform and others about trying to take this beyond party politics. The whole conversation seems to be, in a sense, hijacked by that conversation. But today we see the West Bengal Chief Minister saying the word sorry, both for what happened at the Arjikor Medical College, but also what she called other women who are experiencing this. How do you look at her use of the word sorry?
I think, as usual, every time when we ask for justice and we want to have structural demands in place, where we talk about bringing better ideas and changing the mentality of a certain society, it always becomes an issue between two parties who want to talk about votes and the entire elective system, the electoral system, and as if they nullify and devalidate the movement that can be taken forward by ordinary women or ordinary people on the streets. They absolutely invalidate the politics that they hold in their smaller movements, and the kind of people who gathered on 14th and are still gathering and spontaneously arranging their own kind of protests, that can be marches, that can be gatherings, but they are all trying to be on the streets asking for justice and asking for a better society. So I think coming out only with a sorry is not what the citizens are expecting at this moment. It's been a long time, it's been almost 2 weeks where all of us who are on the streets, who are trying to talk about the movement, have placed structural demands, and we've asked intervention from the people responsible. But even at this point, even today, the news that comes to us is just a mere sorry that they have been incapable of providing the kind of safety, the kind of reliability that we must have gotten unquestioned. So it
Yeah.
definitely only proves how how uh, how invalidating every demand of a citizen is still being made. It is still being brought up to the same parliamentary political domain where it is only about the exchange and the competition between the two parties who stay in opposition from time to time.
Yeah, that's well said, and I agree. And that's why we took the decision to not call any political representatives to the program today, at least. I want to bring in the doctor now. As I said, I have to address you just as the doctor. I'm sorry about that because we're trying to protect your identity here. You have spoken about, what you've gone through as an intern doctor at the Arjikor Medical College, where a man called Sandip Ghosh was the principal. He was also the principal when this young doctor was raped and murdered. We have a lot of reason to believe that the college lied. In fact, we know this from the family that the college lied. Arjikor's official lied to the family. They tried to say the daughter died by suicide. Um, there are other allegations of attempted cover up or suspicions of cover up. We know that the government and the Trinamool Congress initially protected this man. But you have suffered as a young person at the Arjikor College, and you have shared with us that at one point you were so harassed, so scared that you actually thought of taking your own life. You even slit your wrist. That's how bad things were. And I want to say thank you to you for sharing your story. I know it's not easy. Please tell us, and only the parts that you're comfortable talking about, please tell us what happened.
What happened is that in RG the principal Sandip Ghosh sir has came 3 years ago. Uh,
Mhm.
from then he started to form a lobby, a powerful lobby containing some professors, some HODs, some medical students, UG and PG students, and also with some security guards. Also, he tried to form a particular lobby, and this lobby's function was to threat the students or the other professors or other my juniors or seniors or everything of everyone who become the face of the any protest or face of some type of demands they are putting in front, like common demands like fresh house staff counseling, or some demand of some cleaning of regular cleaning of bathrooms of the main boys hostel or some other hostel, uh, but they are marked as a face. So we have done some protest against Sandip Ghosh sir because our demands were not met 3 years ago, and we became the face of this whole protest, and so we were failed in examination regularly. We were suspended from classes and hostels, uh, and so that we cannot socialize with other friends, or they tried to isolate us mainly, and they have given us threats that goons from Belgachia will come and beat us and will throw us from the hostels, and they also spread some false propagandas against us on social media, so so that they can isolate us socially also, and they also uh, barred us from participating in Saraswati Puja and Lobelia, that is our college fest. They also suppress us, and they prevent that we can participate in that program also.
How did it?
So
How did?
I think
How,
that was the
yeah.
tor- that the kind of torture, or there was multiple attempts that our seniors almari or some goods were also thrown from the hostel. At 3 a.m. they have came
Hmm.
out to our hostel with hacksaw blades and threatened our junior that they may have to commit suicide for that. They have told that you have to commit suicide if you don't listen to us and don't join Sandip Ghosh lobbies and protest Manos sir, because 1 year ago Manos Bandyopadhyay sir, which is now the principal of the Arjikar Medical College, came 1 year ago also for 15 days.
Right.
Then we came in the support of that principal sir, because that was the government order, by the CM of the CM and the
I,
governor
I,
order.
I,
But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you, but I want to understand because the connection isn't the best. I want to understand. You're basically saying that as you would raise issues within the college, for just speaking up, Mr. Ghosh and his lobby would punish anyone who spoke up. You were failed in exams, thrown out of the hospital. You were threatened. You were basically told that it's that you've got to be with him, otherwise you have no option. Now you yourself, you've shared this with my colleague Zafar Iqbal. You yourself reached a point where you considered taking your own life, you thought of giving up, you slit your wrist. How did it get so bad? What happened?
first we were given supplies, or we were failed, or multiple threats were given to us. Multiple thing happens, and after
Yeah.
that their threats were so strong that I had to take apology from Sandip Ghosh sir in his chamber with some of my friends and juniors and seniors. But after that they had to continue they continually threatened me.
Uh, I'm sure the doctor will reconnect. We do actually have a testimony. If we can bring up Rimjim in the meantime, please. Yeah, we do have a testimony from the doctor on on the phone, where he does Rimjim talk about how he considered giving up on life itself. And there's another student also who's spoken, and I hope the doctor will be able to reconnect. As a young person, these are just horror stories, right? Like, without getting again into TMC versus BJP versus left, the fact that a young doctor says that for speaking up, he was threatened, he was failed, and as he was failed, he didn't see a future. And because he didn't see a future, he contemplated, and thankfully didn't and thankfully that phase passed. He contemplated giving up on life itself. How, when you listen to this as a young person, what goes through your mind?
I think it is very unfortunate in the first place that people who I share my age group with, being in my 20s or even in the 30s, I have uh, been conversing with doctors who have faced severe harassments from principals like Sandip Ghosh. And this is not the picture of only RG Kaur. This is also a picture of all the other medical colleges that exist here. There are lobbies that exist there. There are certain people who try to be more on the side of the political debate, more on the side of the political lobby, how to get there unions and their organizations through, how to just have a hold. There's a whole syndicate system working in the entire policies and establishment of health sector. So what should have been a very fundamental uh, benefit for people living in a democracy, the whole fundamental idea of healthcare has basically been subjected to a syndicate and a kind of place where everyone wants to take a hold of it and keep it for themselves. It is made into a very profitable sector. It is not seen as a sector where doctors would be employed and patients would receive the kind of extensive care and very sensitive care that they deserve. Government hospitals are made for people who can who do not really belong to that economic class which can afford to go to high level private hospitals, but government hospitals are supposed to be very able institutions which provide the necessary health care to people all around the state. So if if these kind of syndicates and these kind of lobby mechanisms, and if it only becomes about power and whom I can employ and how many interns I can actually suppress while I'm in the entire institution of a hospital, it breaks it right in the root of it. The healthcare
Yeah,
system gets broken right in the root of it. So ideas like the infrastructure that the doctors have to deal with, the kind of issues that come up between the doctors and the patients because of not being able to provide the kind of healthcare that the patients deserve, it creates a divide between the doctors and the patients rather than actually addressing the fact that the government or the higher officials are not being able to provide the kind of infrastructure which is important here. It is only about
right.
putting the blame that why are you in the movement and why are you not looking after the patients who are coming there. It's not like that. It's not like if the doctors are not in the movement, uh, uh, the infrastructure allows them to be very able to look after the patients who come there. There is always an
Yeah,
infrastructural problem. There is always a situation where they do not get to have facilities that they can provide to the ordinary people who visit these hospitals. So I think it's
absolutely.
a very bigger question.
Yeah, and I think our young doctors find it difficult rejoining, but we do have his testimony in full on our platform. So please do have a listen to that. Rimjim, I want to just briefly ask you a last question. As someone who galvanized citizens on the streets to protest, today the street is taken over by either politicians or politically affiliated groups. The doctors have chosen to march by themselves. If you really have to take this conversation beyond the binaries of electoral politics, where do you see the protests now heading from here? Or do you think now that the cases with the CBI, citizens have taken a backseat from the protests?
I do not think that citizens have taken a back seat. I think citizens do realize that this is not something that can be achieved very short term. This has a very long term idea related to this. We are looking forward to changing the entire mentality that almost governs our society. And every certain aspect of our lifestyle is basically regulated with this kind of mentality that we are governed by, the whole patriarchal mentality that we've been trying to talk about right from the beginning of this movement. So I do not think that citizens want to let this go just because it's in the hands of CBI or it's in the hand of Supreme Court. Also because it is not just about this case. It is not just about what happened at Arjikor. If we go by the statistics, until now we have probably lost or have the data of more survivors who have been harassed in our country. So if we do not get to address the entire part of it, uh, with the people that I've been fortunate enough to converse with, I do not see them backing down. I do see them looking forward to make better changes and have their opinion in favor of structural changes that we've been suggesting since the start of this movement. So definitely, it's on the ground and it's not going away.
Thank you, Rimjim, for saying that. Our junior doctor, our intern doctor, was back briefly, but as you could see right now, he lost his connection. That's okay. He has shared his story with us already on the Mojo Story in full. His story goes something like this: he is an intern doctor, but he feels he was failed repeatedly. He alleges that when he tried to speak up on basic issues within the college premises, and that led him at one point to even uh, even inflicting violence on himself. There's another student testimony we have that says the same thing. It's horrifying and disturbing. And Rimjim, thank you for asking and also pushing us to ask the right questions. Take care and best of luck to our doctor friend also, who unfortunately couldn't join us for the full length of the program. We will reconnect soon after a few days and not also give up on pushing for some changes that are more meaningful instead of just a set of headlines that fade with time. Thank you for talking to us. Take care.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.